Welcome back, dear students. Today we are going to start class B subnetting. Class B is start from 128.0.x.x up to 191.0.255.x.x. The very first address of class B, the very last address of class B. 192 onward class B, okay, class C, sorry. So 128 up to 191, this is the class B range. And the default subnet mask is 255.255.0.0. It means that these two are the host or suffix part, and these two are the network or prefix part. Remember, this is what? This is default subnet mask. Okay, default subnet mask. Here we will try to borrow bits from the third octet and from the fourth octet. How many bits we can borrow? Maximum, we can borrow maximum 14 bits. Okay, maximum bits we can borrow is equal to 14. How 14? 8 bits from the third octet and 6 bits from the fourth octet. From this octet we can borrow 8 bits, and from this fourth octet we can borrow 6 bits. So the maximum number of bits we can borrow is 14. Okay, so let's start borrowing bits. I will try to borrow 1 bit, 2 bits, okay, and so on. We will do our practice. By default, this class B is giving us, okay, by default. Okay, dear students, before going to perform subnetting process, it's better to understand the default value, okay, the classful values. By default, in the class A, as I mentioned before, these two octets are belongs to the prefix, and these two octets belongs to network. So by default, in each network of the class B, we have how many number of hosts? Let's try to find 2 power h. So 2 power 16, h is 16, okay, 8 minus 2 is equal to 65,534, okay. This is the total number of hosts per network. Remember, per network. And how many networks are here in the class B? This second octet is totally the network octet, and here from 128 to 191, this is the range of class B, so it's equal to 64. If you want to find the number of networks in class, this is the number of hosts, okay, number of hosts per network, and number of networks, very simple, 64 multiplied by 256 is equal to total number of networks. Understood? This value and this value is based on this default subnet mask. Okay, now next we are going to do subnetting, so I will try to borrow one bit from the third octet. So what will be the CIDR value after borrowing 1 bit from the third octet? 128.0.0.0/17. In this /17 mean that we have borrowed 1 bit from the third octet, because /16 is the default and /17 mean we borrowed 1 bit. So now what will be the subnet mask after borrowing this 1 bit in 17 CIDR? So the subnet mask will be 255 255.128.0. Here 8 bits and here 7 bits. So it's equal to how much? No, not 7 bit, 1 bit, sorry. And here 1 bit. So it's equal to how much? It's equal to 17. Okay, so this 17. Okay, we borrow 1 bit. Let's find our predefined criterion values, like number of subnetworks after borrowing 1 bit and number of host per subnetwork, and subnet mask is already defined, range of each subnet. Okay, number of subnetworks, how many bits we have borrowed? We have borrowed 1 bit. The number of borrowed bits is equal to 1. Let me write it here. Is equal to 1. So 2 power 1 is equal to 2. So we have 2 subnetworks. Number of hosts per subnetwork is formula is 2 power h minus 2. What is the h value? So by default there was 16 bits. Okay, as you see here, there was 16 bits. 1 bit is borrow bit. So how many is remaining? 15 is remaining. Okay, so 2 power 15 minus 2 is equal to 32,000 something. Okay, so this is the number of hosts per subnetwork. Per mean these 2 subnetworks. And let's find the range of each subnetwork. It's a little tricky part. Okay, the second, how many bits we have borrowed from the third octet? Obviously 1. So how many subnetworks do we have? Obviously 2. Now the third octet total range was how much? Total range was 255. From 0 to 255, it's equal to 256. If you are confused, don't be confused. It's very simple. Come to this third octet. From 0 it started, and obviously it will be finished on 256. Before it was belongs to this 0 network. Now we did subnetting, so there will belongs to 2 subnetworks. That's why this total range of the third octet divided by 2 is equal to how much? Is equal to 128. 128 mean what? Start from 0 up to 127, 128 up to 255. So this is the first octet, the first subnetwork range, and this is the second subnetwork range. Okay, very nice. Let's move ahead, and now let's write the number of the range of subnet 1. 128.0.0.0, the very first address. The very last address, 128.0.127.255. okay, the very last address. Subnet 2. Okay, let me make some space here. Subnet 1 was 128.0.0.0 up to 128.0.127.255. This 127 comes from where? From here. Okay, start from 0, finish on here. Why I just divide this? Because we borrow a bit from third octet. And now subnet 2, 128.0.128.0, and here 128.0.255.255. If you want to find the first valid address, increase 1 here, and the last valid address is 127.254, and here increase 1, 128.1, and decrease 1, 128.0.255.254. okay, this is the network address, the broadcast address, network address, broadcast address, and this is the first valid, the first valid and the last valid, first valid and last valid. Okay, so this is the 2 subnetworks after borrowing 1 bit. Okay, now I will try to borrow 2 bits. So number of borrow bits is equal to 2. Let's find our standard values. Number of subnetworks is equal to how much? Number of host per subnetwork. Range of each subnetwork. Okay, here number of subnetworks, how many bits we have borrowed? 2. So 2 power 2 is equal to 4. We have 4 subnetworks. Number of hosts per subnetwork, how many bits are remaining when we will borrow 2 bits from the 16? Obviously 14. Okay, 14 minus 2 is equal to, it's okay, let me use it's equal to 16,000 something. Okay, and range of each subnetwork, okay, this is 16,382. And range of each subnetwork, how many subnetworks we have? 4. So 256 divided by 4 is equal to 64. This means I have 64 up to 127, 128 up to, if you are confused here, don't worry, let me make it clear. 127, 64, so it's equal to 11. 2 plus 1 is here, 9, and 191, 192, 255. This is my the 4 networks range. Okay, and this range will be applied on the third octet, because in the third octet we have the off and on combination and we borrow bits from there. Let me write here the subnet 1 128.0.0.0 128.0.63.255 and subnet 2 10.0. not 10, it's 128 class B. 128.0. see, it's finished on 63, so it will be start from 64.0. this will again become 0. 128.0.127.255 subnet 3. Don't worry, if you have any question, directly raise your question in the comment section. Okay, I will definitely reply. 128.0.128.0 128.0.191.255 subnet 4, it starts from 192. 192.1 it's not 192, it's 128.0.192.0 128.0.255.255. this is the last subnet, means subnet 4 range. Subnet mask, here we borrow 2 bits, so 255, and here 192.0. the CIDR value is what? Is 18. Okay, you can see 18,882 is equal to 18. Here 18/18/18 CIDR value. Subnet mask will be same for each subnetwork. Same subnet mask and same subnet mask, 255.255.192.0. okay, same subnet mask here. Okay, a host per subnetwork was how much? It was 16. If you are confused how it will be 16, very much simple. At this third octet we have how many? The range is how much? The range is 64. So 64 multiplied by 256 is equal to same 16384. Okay, so dear students, this was class B CIDR subnetting, and you can continuously carry on this, and you can borrow uh, uh, 3 bits, you can borrow 4 bits, you can borrow 5, 6, 7, and 8. When you will borrow 8 bits, it means the third octet will be completed. Okay, and then you will start borrowing bits from the fourth octet, and again you will start from the very most significant bit, that will become your 9 bit and 10 bit, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Remember, you cannot go beyond 14, because if you will bring 14, so it means borrow 14, it means from the fourth you borrow 6 bits, and here you already borrow 8 bits, so it's equal to how much? 14. And 14 was the uh, maximum number of bits we can borrow in class B. Okay, let me try to borrow this bit, because up to here this is the normal. You can go as I already borrow 1 bit, 2 bit, you can practice 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, but this, let me clear it, maybe some of you guys will get confused here. Okay, so our IP address is 128.0.0.0 / after borrowing this, the value will be 25. The CIDR value will be what? 25. 25 mean that subnet mask 255 255 255.128 from the first octet, second, third, and fourth. So 8, 8, and 1 is equal to what? 25. Okay, because we borrow how many bits? We borrow 9 bits. Okay, this is the default, we borrow 9 bits. So the number of borrow bits is now how much? 9. Number of borrow bits is equal to 9. So you want to find number of subnetworks. So 2 power 9 is equal to 512. We have 512 subnetworks. Mean we divide this 128.0, this network, into how many subnetworks? Into 512 subnetworks. And number of hosts per subnetwork will be how much? Very simple, 2 power h. What is the h value now? When we borrow 9 bits, so by default in class B there was 16 bits for the host, and from here we borrow 9 bits. So how many bits are remaining? 7 bits. 2 power 7 minus 2 is equal to 126. In each subnetwork we will have 126 valid hosts and 128 total hosts, including the network and broadcast. So now the last part, range of each subnetwork. This is very simple here now. Okay, you have 2 ways to write this. First, it's very clear that I have 128 including the broadcast network host per network, so just complete it. The second is our previous method. How many bits we have borrowed from the fourth octet, because on the fourth octet we have the on and off combination, obviously 1. So 2 power 1 is equal to 2. What is the total range of the first, this last octet, this 0 to this? Yes, that's not is the subnet mask, not the range. Okay, what is the range of this fourth octet? Obviously 256 divided by what? 2 is equal to what? 128. So 128. Okay, how I can write it? Very simple. Subnet 1 128.0.0. remember, now all these 3 octets are belongs to network, because 888. Okay, it's full. Here we have combination at the fourth octet. So 0 128.0.0.127. See, 128. So from 0 to 127 is equal to what? 128. That's why I told you it's very simple. Subnet 2 128.0.0.128 128.0.0.255. The first valid address is 128.0.1 and 128.0.0.126. Okay, and same here. $254. Okay. How it will give us 12 subnetworks? Very simple. You can see here my 0 is one network, again 0 is one network. Okay, because 0 from here to there onward we need 255. So my subnet 4, sorry, subnet 3 will be start from 128.0.1.0 128.0.1.127, and subnet 4 128.0.1.128.0.1.55. You can see here 1 have two subnetworks, and here 0 had two subnetworks. So it means the third octet is 256. And here I have what? Two networks per network. Okay, so divide by 2 is equal to 5 112. This 2 mean what? Like you can see from this to this, from this to this, I have two sub networks. Okay, that's why. And at the third octet total 256 are network, so 512. If you will carry on, it will give you 512 sub networks. Okay guys, so this was our class B CIDR subnetting. My dear students, as I told you before, that you have to practice these octets in your with yourself. Same practice 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. When you will practice 14, it will give you 2 power 2 minus 2 is equal to 2 host per subnetwork. Okay, and how many networks? So 2 power 14. This will give you subnetworks. It means huge number of subnetworks and very less number of hosts, mean the minimum 2. This is mostly used for point to points. Okay, I hope it's clear. If you have any question, you can let me know in the comment section. Definitely I will reply. Subscribe the channel. Definitely you to make a win-win situation, like and comment the video, because such things are important for us, because these things will boost the channel and the video, and also it's a kind of appreciation from your side when you are giving us like, and when you are giving is to be honest, uh, for me it's nothing. I don't work for that, but it's a kind of appreciation. It means that it giving us a signal that yeah, the students are watching, the students are learning, and the students are appreciating these things. And I think it is your ethical and your professional responsibility to do such things, like sharing the channel and video and interacting with this. Okay, so thank you so much, dear students, and see you in the next lecture. There I will do class C CIDR subnetting, and after, remember, still we are at the fundamental level. Okay, what we are discussing is all the fundamental level, because in our next videos we will go for practical subnetting, mean requirements based subnetting, and these fundamentals will help you over there. Because when you are working in an ISP, or when you are working in any organization as a subnet designer, So what we are doing will not, the things will not same over there, the things will be different over there. Yeah, I'm going to prepare you for those roles, like a subnet designer, like you're working in an ISP, customer demanding for the IP address, you are required to give them subnet, having their network and number of required host per subnet. So that's why I'm going to prepare you for that. So these things are going to be like a fundamental, okay, like a helping stuff over there. Again, thank you so much. See you in the next lecture.